Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson for Catholic Newsbreak. Here's what's happening this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. Pope Benedict XVI has released his message for the 25th anniversary of Poland's spiritual adoption of the unborn, a project whose participants promised to pray for an unborn baby each day for 9 months. In the message, the Pope encouraged prayers for the lives of the unborn and asked Polish Catholics to ensure their love for life translates into concrete support for those finding it difficult to welcome a pregnancy. The spiritual adoption of the unborn project began in 1987 as part of the Polish national pilgrimage to the shrine of Our Lady of Jasna Góra in Częstochowa before the Mass at the Marian Shrine to mark the culmination of the 301st pilgrimage to Częstochowa, celebrated on the Feast of the Assumption. Cardinal Kazimierz Nici of Warsaw read Pope Benedict's message. The Pope also praised those who promote the gospel values of life and love, opposing abortion and other threats to life, and he prayed that the project would inspire more open human hearts to bring spiritual help to children whose lives are at risk and aid to couples facing difficulty welcoming a new life and to families that have experienced the tragedy of abortion. In news now from around the world, John Rivera, the Director of Communications for Catholic Relief Services, is denying claims that the agency's work with Core Group, an international organization working to improve maternal and child care, violates church teaching. In a statement on the CRS website, Rivera said that the agency's membership in the Core Group provides a means of demonstrating our faithfulness to church teaching. LifeSite News reported in a recent editorial that Mary Hennigan, Senior Technical Advisor in Health for CRS, served on the Core Group's Board of Directors, and that another CRS representative was involved in the organization's HIV and AIDS Working Group. The Core Group promotes the use of condoms to prevent the spread of HIV and supports unspecified family planning services around the globe. The CRS statement said that not all members of the networks that CRS joins uphold all tenets of church teaching, but Rivera said that by being an active and influential member of the Core Group, CRS is able to represent the Catholic positions on health for mothers and their infants. In news now from Italy, with the Rimini meeting set to convene later this month in Milan, Italy. Religious groups like the Communion and Liberation Movement are preparing for the event. Rome Reports looks at the origins of the movement and its founder and the movement in today's society.
The Catholic movement of Communion and Liberation was created in Milan, Italy in 1954. Its founder, Luigi Giussiani, was a priest that wanted to increase the Christian presence with younger students. He did this by quitting his job as a professor of theology and began teaching at a high school. There, a movement began called Student Youth, but evolved into Communion and Liberation in 1969. Today, it's present in 70 countries with 200,000 members, all working toward their purpose of education to Christian maturity. They carry a Christian message in their approach toward art, culture, and music. They also work toward promoting charitable activities. As Giussiani once said, that Christianity is primarily an event. It's the event of an encounter with something fascinating. That was how it was from the beginning, when the first people that met Jesus were so attracted to him by the impact it had on them. They wanted to see him again the next day, and then the next day, and so on until they became friends. On March 24, 2007, Benedict XVI held an audience with 80,000 members of Communion and Liberation. During this meeting, the Pope recalled his own friendship with Luigi Giussiani. When he was still a cardinal, he presided at his funeral in the Milan Cathedral in February of 2005.
Don Giussiani si impegnò allora a ridestare nei giovani l'amore verso Cristo, via, verità e vita, ripetendo che solo Lui è la strada verso la realizzazione dei desideri più profondi del cuore dell'uomo e che Cristo non ci salva a dispetto della nostra umanità, ma attraverso di essa.
The Meeting of Rimini in Italy is the most important event organized by Communion and Liberation. Since 1980, religious leaders, politicians, and many others have gathered for these meetings to improve dialogue across cultural lines.
Looking now at news from around the country, according to an affidavit released by the FBI, the gunman involved in the recent shooting at the Family Research Council in Washington, D.C. brought 15 Chick-fil-A sandwiches and a 9mm pistol to the council headquarters and said he did not like their politics just before he opened fire. One guard was shot before the gunman was subdued. The shooter was identified as Floyd Lee Corkins of Herndon, Virginia. Corkins was charged with assault with intent to kill while armed. He is also charged with a federal offense of interstate transportation of a firearm and ammunition. Tony Perkins, CEO of the Family Research Council, said in a statement that reckless language created an atmosphere of violence. He referred to the Southern Poverty Law Center's labeling of his organization as a hate group because of its opposition to same-sex marriage. The Family Research Council, which was founded in 1983, advocates for public policy that values human life and upholds the institutions of marriage and the family. Its motto is advancing faith, family, and freedom. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, or GLAAD, issued a statement saying they utterly reject and condemn such violence. Chick-fil-A has been in the news recently after its chief operating officer, Dan Cathy, talked about his opposition to same-sex marriage. Chick-fil-A is a donor to the Family Research Council. And finally in the news, a recent survey looking at views on gun control by the Public Religion Research Institute found that despite strong support for the constitutional right to bear arms, a majority of people draw the line at allowing people to bring weapons into places of worship. 2/3 of Americans told researchers they think the Second Amendment, which covers the right to bear arms, is as important as other constitutional rights, such as free speech, religion, and press. But 3/4 said there should be a prohibition against carrying guns into churches, government buildings, or college campuses. 52% overall favored stricter gun control laws. The survey was conducted after the mass shootings in a Colorado movie theater and a Wisconsin Sikh temple. The study found that Catholics were less likely than other groups to have guns in their homes or to support allowing concealed guns in churches. They were also more likely than mainline Protestants, evangelicals, or people unaffiliated with churches to support stronger enforcement of existing gun control laws. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. Please stay with Catholic TV for more Catholic news. Until then, I'm Kevin Nelson, and I'll see you next time on Catholic Newsbreak.